Welcome back, everybody. Now, being held up by the whole stabilator debacle here and needing to get pricing on that and order those parts. I know some of those parts can be as much as 10 or 12 week delay in delivery. So I figured I'd move on to something else. I figured, all right, the quick build kit has the bulk of the wings already assembled, so let's move forward onto the ailerons and then maybe the flaps while we're waiting for the rest of the parts. So I proceeded to gather all the part numbers, everything that were required here in WXB W04, and ran into some hiccups. I know, it's shocking. Who would have ever expected such a thing? But well, I guess that's the way this build's going to go for a while. So, first thing I noticed quickly was, well, previous builder Steve had started the aileron stuff a little bit. He had cut and drilled the hinge halves. To be honest, it looks like he did a really good job with that, but haven't actually measured them myself, but they look pretty good, so not going to complain about that at all. Okay, the what do you call it? The control, the drive rib assemblies. I don't think there's much that can be done improperly on that. It's got the plate that's been riveted to the ribs. Look like good rivets, look like they're well done. Things look pretty straight and square, so those appear to be acceptable. The skins themselves, my plans are calling for a WXB W0401 right and left. The aileron skins, they're clearly labeled aileron skins. These are the SNX Z02 01 58 inch. Now that grabbed my attention pretty quickly because the plans, the widest point of the aileron is just under 39 inches. So to me, it seems a little bit excessive to send me 58 inches of material, but it just may be easier to stock the longer lengths because I know some people get the aerobatic ailerons, which is I believe it's typically the aileron's about a third the width of the wing and the flap is 2/3. I believe on the aerobatic styles it's a 50-50 split, so it may be more cost effective and easier to stock just one length in aileron material rather than two. So I have a email started here on my phone to carry just to make sure there aren't any other differences. I think the wings are identical between the Sonex and the YX, so should be fine, but I just want to double check that there isn't a height difference or a length difference from what I should have. So kind of held up there as to starting this part. I found all of the, there's two different style ribs. I need 3 of each. I'm assuming left and right. And then there are the end caps for the ailerons. Got both of those. That's cool. Now we get to the counterweights, the aileron counterweights. Steve has already done these. And for the most part, when I looked at them quickly when I was buying the plane, I was looking more at the workmanship as to being well riveted, things like that, but there's a problem. These both need to be redone. And let me show you why. This out of the way. All right, I'm going to try and point this straight at the camera here. You guys get a little bit of a bird's eye view. Now, as these assemblies are laid flat here on the workbench, I mean, even starting right at the very end where they're fastened, this top skin is not directly aligned with the rib. Excuse me. This rib is not correctly aligned with the bottom rib. Okay, and as I proceed to slide this farther out towards the tip, it gets worse and worse and worse. So up here, about a 1/16 of an inch gap between the rib and the. You can see I can just drop this in there comfortably. So between the right angle here, the square. Okay, I get up here, that's at least 1/4 of an inch. So that means these counterweights, once you look at them this way, they're going to have a twist. And that's not good. I can't go flying around with, kind of twisted or spiral shaped ailerons. Yeah, we're not a 737 with the vortex, whatever they're called, tips. So this kind of sucks because I can't do ailerons. So I'm assuming these parts are going to be similar back ordered to everything else. But I need to ask Carrie what the blank parts look like. So I don't know if these all came pre-drilled originally. The pictures are showing the, what are these called? Aileron counterbalance plates. They're almost 1/8 of an inch thick, or at least 2 millimeters or more. Those appear to be pre-drilled on the plans, but the parts that they're attached to, I don't believe come with any holes. I think they're similar to these other ribs. In fact, they're virtually identical if I hold them up together. So yeah, in fact, it's the W04003. So that's would in fact be this plate. So these do not come with the pre-drilled holes. So kind of guessing that the good news is I only need to get a couple more of the ribs, but at the same time I'm going to need to drill these out, and will I end up with something oversized, at least through the thicker counterbalance plates. It's a thicker material. I'll be super careful drilling these out. I may even drill them out undersized, and then I have a ton of tools, so maybe I'll either buy, or if I don't already own a ream in that size, I will drill them out very close to final size, but slightly undersized, and I may gently pass a reamer through there to not have to do that, to replace the whole entire assembly, because the plates were pre-drilled, so those holes should be squared. The ribs were not held in proper alignment when they were match drilled. So I remember, now that I think about it, good old Gavin from Gavin Sonex B. I've been chatting with him lately too. Great fellow, nice guy. And I remember when he was doing this part of his build, he said that he had struggled with the ability to get these aligned properly. And I think his solution was Without this center channel, and obviously without the counterweight in there, I think he said his solution was he sandwiched all four parts, the counterweight plates and the ribs, together at once and drilled through all four units at the same time. So I may have to shoot him an email and confirm that, or hopefully maybe he has. I'll go back and look at his video for sure, but maybe he has some more in detailed photos or something he can share with me on the process. So I need to order more parts for this step. So I don't know what I want to do at this point. I could possibly start on the flaps, working my way in from the fuselage out to the ailerons. It seems like most of the builds I've followed, people are, once they have their wings completed, which mine are quick builds, so I know that works good. The factory did it. And but most people seem to proceed on to the ailerons and then the flaps. And then the flaps do need final fitting for a certain gap clearance between the flap itself and the fuselage in the most upright position. But that's a whole different story farther on down the road, and I'm nowhere near that road. In fact, I'm probably not even in the same state, and possibly not in the right country or even continent to that road at this point in time. So a little more discouragement, just basically because that's the next step I wanted to do. And good news is I found it out now. I can order the parts. I may not see them till fall, or at least late summer, but it's better than bumping into that problem later on down the road. And while I'm getting one shipment together from Sonex, I might as well pile on as many parts as I can. And it's a shame because, to be honest with you, if I don't think there's a lip on the front of this, but yeah, I can't do that. The counterweight plates, those are square in perfect alignment. So it's just the two ribs that are misaligned, tweaked at an angle. And I will say this, at least Steve is consistent because he managed to get them both right. I would think a coin toss, hopefully 50-50, one would be correct, but nope, they're both. This one actually is perfect up here where the riveting starts. And then you go down, and now my gap's at the bottom of about a 1/16 of an inch on the bottom piece, and up here closer to an 1/8 of an inch, which you'd expect. 0, 1/16 off, 1/8 off. They're straight pieces. Makes perfect sense. So, perfect. Close to perfect. This one seems to be a little bit better, so maybe some of the bends in the ribs are slightly off. But either way, neither is usable, so my plans to work on ailerons today are completely shot. So I still have another hour, maybe 2, that I could tinker here. So I'm going to see if I can find another project. So stay tuned. Okay, I grabbed all the parts for a flap. So Steve also did some work on this, and haven't really gotten critical yet. I did grab the yardstick. I don't have a tape measure up here. It is cut to 72 or excuse me, 72 inches, and did little tricks with the square to see that the lengths are correct. I believe the angles here are correct. So yeah, I guess the only thing I can really do is start to Cleco it together and paying attention to the details in the prints here and see if I run into any roadblocks. There are some notes in there where he was waiting for some replacement ribs, which did show up, and not sure why he needed them. Maybe he misdrilled them or something. I don't think that I have the bad ones here, or I haven't seen them, unaware of them, so no big deal. But he did order some replacements at some point, so I have those, and I'm kind of assuming those go, I don't know. He has his own sort of little code written in here, so this is the right flap, so right third inboard. So counting from the outboard, 1, 2, third inboard, or is it third from the inboard? I'll figure that out, I guess, probably once I put them in place. I can be able to tell which they've already been match drilled. Some of the holes aren't quite centered on the ribs, but the ones that aren't, they're actually a little closer to the bend than they are to the edge. So I don't think that's as big of an issue, but I personally would be a bit more picky if I was drilling them. But like I said, I don't think this is a factor because they're not closer to the edge, they're closer to the bend. Should structurally just be fine when they're all seated. And it's only a couple, so it's not that big a deal. So I'm going to take a wild guess as to... this is right flap outboard. Actually, it says, looks like a route board. But, so that's... Let's see. So that might be the very, very outboard. Third inboard, because we got the one with the plate on it. That's obviously the inboard. Right hand flat inboard, outboard. So this third inboard is going to either obviously be this one or this one. So I should probably start with that. Yeah. See if it lines up with these, and if so, how well. That looks like a pretty good alignment. That looks like a perfect match drill for that location. So then this one's going to need to be drilled for this location. So I will need to just see. I got a little lucky actually. This marker seems to kind of be. Nope. I take that back. That appeared to be a decent height, but it's not. All right, you guys should be able to see that a little bit better. And if I want to be real fussy, it's just about a perfect 1/4 inch from the edge. And seeing how the ribs are 1/2 inch wide, I can't get a lot more center than that. Pressure down so I can, so it doesn't move too far on me. I can see where it would be easy to drill some stuff off-centered for sure. Get frustrated probably after missing a few times. I would think it would be best to pull, maybe mark a couple of dots through the back holes that are already done to match drill the rib undersized. And then I can put it in with some silver clecos, a bunch of silver clecos all the way around, and then I can individually take out a cleco, upsize drill, put in a copper cleco until I get it all done, I guess. That seems to be a rational way to approach it, I guess. So let's see all right. Yeah, I got this rear line done real well. But before I do that, I think I'm going to make sure that the other ribs, obviously one was inboard, one was outboard, but I don't want to jump to any conclusions, and I want to get a couple of these in, at least on the ends, to make sure that it's where it should be. You might say I'm at the end of my hose. All right. It's a little rough on the finger. Okay. Back of the rib is now tight to the rear of the aileron skin. Now I can finagle the front a little bit. And before I get too excited, let's see where we're at in the back. Alright. I need to have a little bit of a compromise. That's dead center down that side now. All right. Still getting used to these. If you're going to build an aircraft, though, definitely get the spring loaded, because the traditional ones, they just flop around like old pliers. They're a lot more work. These you can manipulate a little easier, a little quicker. Keep wanting to pick them up though, kind of in this position. That's where I keep struggling. Alright, now I can probably drill the in-between ones without. And that bottom is still perfectly aligned. I'll try and insert a picture for you so you can see that my red line's visible just about in the center of each of the holes that Steve had already drilled prior, so we should be good. I'm going to pop in the last ribs with copper clecos, make sure everything's pretty much squared where it should be, and then at that point I will upsize drill these and copper cleco these. I will reassess everything one more time, and that'll include going back and measuring and including angles of cut. I'll take it over, I'll hold it up to the wing, I will assess it in any way that I could possibly think of, and if it's satisfactory, then I shall peel the protective layer off. I will start the deburring process and finally get into riveting of a decent sized structure on the plane. And that's not going to happen today though, so I don't have much more time, so just going to finish this assembly here. If you hung around to the very end, which I don't know why you would, as I rolled this over and proceeded to cleco everything, I think I realize there's a problem. There's an extra line of holes drilled over here. And That's not too big a deal because I know I had an extra skin, and now I know why. So, but the problem is I just match drilled this rib to this skin. And the odds of it working in the new skin is probably about impossible, because if it was on the edge, I could use my blind hole rivet tools I got here, but there's no way I can match drill from the inside out this far down the flap, so I'm going to need to order another one of those ribs. So, guess what? I can't do the flaps now either. What a crappy day. So, I guess it's going to be pretty much finishing up the engine. Maybe I could start to play around in the cockpit a little bit, work on control sticks, start thinking about my panel, although at this point that's a long ways away. I was hoping to be farther along by summer, or maybe buy some avionics up at Oshkosh this year, because everybody tells me buy your avionics last when you're basically just about done, because if not, then 90% done, 90% still to go, and you can buy avionics and it could take another year or two to complete the plane, and it might be a better deal or something you want more at that point in time. So, okay, I am frustrated and bitter, and yeah, just let me say this. I want you guys to understand that I don't have any ill will towards Steve. I got a great price on this kit and on these parts. So if I have to spend a few extra thousand along the way to correct errors or to whatever, things I screw up myself, I haven't even gotten to the point where I started making mistakes yet. I'm going to get there. I'm going to make my own mistakes, and I'm going to need to correct those well. So I know it seems like I might dig at the previous builder a little bit here and there, but the truth is he's a really nice guy. And once this thing is up and it is flying and it's out of its phase testing and I can go somewhere with it, one of the very first trips I plan on doing is flying out to New York, picking Steve up and flying him in this plane, because he's an awesome guy, So yeah, I don't want everybody thinking I got a problem with the previous builder. I don't. He's a nice guy. I like him. I enjoy talking to him, and I just I'm just pointing out things that I found that are incorrect. The truth is, he's probably should be grateful he never tried to put this thing up in the air. Selling it has probably saved his life. So, and I'm not taking any credit for that either. He'd already made the decision. So it was up for sale. I bought it. I knew what I was buying. I'm comfortable with that. And yeah, I just don't want you all thinking I'm hating on Steve, because I'm not. He's an awesome guy, and he's going to be one of the first passengers in this plane. And I'll probably let him fly it a little bit too, because why wouldn't I? So anyways, one more time, subscribe, like button, share it with your friends, and thanks for watching.